Oh, God. Well, let's hurry up. Come on. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Come on. Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
Hello.
Hi, Lauren. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Is it what time is it there? Where you are?
Is this becoming a running joke?
Yeah, sort of.
Same time zone.
Okay.
I'm in the same time zone as you.
Oh, good.
It's the same time here as it is there.
Good. Instagram, you find us there. You will simply search Wilder Show Pod, and you'll find us. I'll do a better job. I'm working on it. I am a work in progress. Lots of work. If you want to send us an email, just
I thought of something really funny I could say, but I'm not going to say it.
Sure. There's lots of stuff I could say, too. If you want to send us an email, just email to podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays at 6 a.m. Central on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and iHeart and Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. So like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. And we are glad that you're here.
I was going to say lots of work, not as much progress. Now take your best shot. I'm ready. I'm wide open.
I'm gonna let my kindness prevail.
That's so big of you.
I know.
So mature.
Sometimes it's better to be kind than to be right. So anyway, I read that on some card somewhere. Okay, let's we have to talk about the little spat between Trump and Musk real quick. And we are going to talk about what today is. Today is June 6th. It's a big deal.
That is a big story.
June 6th. We want to talk about June 6th, give it the attention that it due. So we'll start with the ridiculous, then go to the sublime.
Very good.
How about that? Elon Musk is no longer part of the Doge government thing, as you know, and he's been jettisoned. And now it's a little, they're both having what I used to call twit fits. It's not a tweet anymore, so it's not that. It's an X thing. But they are both sort of spatting back and forth, Trump and Elon Musk. Elon Musk sends a note that says, without me, he would have lost. He pushes for a new political party. Musk says Republicans should side with him. Hang on and listen to this. Side with him, meaning Musk, over Trump, because he says Trump will die first.
Wasn't there something else before that, though?
Oh, there's a bunch of stuff.
Didn't he say, though, he'll only be president for the next
3 to 5 years?
Which maybe, does he know how all of this works? Like, does he know how
up.
long
I have no idea what he's talking
presidential
about.
term?
Trump says Musk went crazy and now suggests killing Musk's government contracts. He says, I was surprised. I'm very disappointed. Sort of to Elon. You know, it's...
He's disappointed in Elon?
Elon was disappointed in Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He says that Musk went crazy. And then he says something about how he said there is such a thing really as the Trump derangement syndrome. This is getting out of hand. Yesterday afternoon, Musk sort of went nuclear. I don't know if you've even seen this. Musk calls for Trump to be impeached and makes a wild Epstein rant after Donald Trump branded Elon as crazy and their feud has exploded.
Who has time for this?
Isn't that crazy? It would be an insult to 14-year-old girls, or I would say they are two 14-year-old girls on social media.
Yeah.
But that's an insult to 14-year-old girls. Speaking of 14-year-old girls, you'll love this. In the responding to, I'm going to call them tweets.
Okay.
In the response to the tweet from Trump that said he's gone crazy, do you know what Elon Musk's response to that was?
What?
One word: whatever. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. That was the response. The way Donald Trump wins fights, the way he wins arguments, you know how he wins arguments. He starts new arguments.
Right.
So you have this whole thing about Trump and Elon and all this kind of stuff. And so to distract from that, he says, you know what? I'm announcing new travel bans. We're going to ban people coming to the country from these 10 countries. And he announced that. Then he did something that I really agree with, and I think really has some merit. And more on that in a second.
Okay.
He said, I want an investigation into Biden and the use of the auto pen.
Yeah. Well, we've talked.
I know we
that's
have.
That's a legitimate thing.
I think it
right?
is.
Yeah.
Now, of course, here's where it gets interesting for me. In watching the news reports about that, and that Trump had called for an investigation into, or the Justice Department to investigate into Biden's use of the auto pen, the response of those defending Biden or those against Trump were to say this. Well, we now know that Trump has used the auto pen too. But that's not the issue. This is where it'd be easy to get distracted to say, oh, well, if Trump, so he's against Biden using it, but then it turns out, he's used it too. That's not the deal. The deal is the auto pen can be used. The question is what is it used for?
Right.
And did the person whose signature is on it actually authorize whatever action that signature makes happen?
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. So the very fact that those who are opposed to Trump about this issue and defensive for Biden, the very fact that that's the way they would talk about it, tells me there's something there. There's something there. And so I'm really interested in the results of that. I think that's going to be something worth looking at and following, and I want to, and we will. Their little spat is ongoing. First of all, this was a marriage of convenience.
Huh? Whose marriage?
No, I'm talking about the marriage between Musk and the Donald. Trump and Musk, this political marriage was sort of
they just needed each other for a period of time.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's a messy breakup.
Exactly. It was Donald Trump needed his money and his support and then wanted him to come in and cut a bunch of stuff. So he put him in charge of the Doge thing and got all that done. And Musk needed Donald Trump for some of the special incentives for Tesla.
Yeah.
And he also, of course, this is where it's gone sideways for Musk. He wanted a certain person put in charge of NASA. Now, what you say, why would Tesla care about NASA? Well, you know why.
I can imagine.
Well, he's got his space thing going on all the time. And he needs all kinds of government contracts and different things. So that was a marriage of convenience. Their spat is continuing. I'd say it's escalating pretty quickly. You go from getting a key to the kingdom, which he got in the Oval Office, and within 40 hours, you're saying that guy's going to die before I am, and Trump is saying he's gone crazy, and Musk is saying whatever, and then Musk says, hey, listen, I think he should be impeached, and we're going to look more into the Epstein files. What?
Isn't he's gone crazy the same thing that Trump just said about Putin a week ago?
I know.
He's crazy. He's gone crazy.
Yeah, everybody's crazy. It's
I mean, they both might be crazy, but it's weird that at what point does that start to at what point does that start to reflect
on him
more on the person who's keeping company with them?
Well, the reason Trump is mad at Musk is because Musk has come out and soured the deal about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Which just the name of these things is so like junior high student body elections.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It feels so weird. But anyway, so Trump is mad because the One Big Beautiful Bill Act is not supported by Musk, and Musk is saying, hey, it's full of pork. Let's get rid of that. It's going to put us in debt. It's going to bankrupt America. And Trump's going, hey, dude, I wanted to get this done before July 4th, and you're souring the deal. All right, now that the Trump-Musk thing, it's like a soap opera.
I
like
dislike
Susan
that
Lucci.
so much.
Don't like, well, all the back and forth nonsense? I hate it.
It's
just so pedestrian, man.
It is.
Let's talk about something significant. Today's June 6th, and it is D-Day. And Man, do you know the story of D-Day? I know you do. I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
But do you study any of this? As they talk about something consequential? You know, that invasion was planned for years. Think about that. They had planned this invasion for years. I mean, there were days when wars were won with men with guns. That's how wars were won. Now, it doesn't mean we didn't have bombers and all that. We did have that. But what happened on June 6, 1944, had it not gone well, and by the way, it was planned for a couple of days before, but Dwight Eisenhower, who was president at the time, called it off because there was a fear
You mean
about
it was
weather.
planned to happen? It was supposed to happen a few days before.
On the 5th or the 4th.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to take place on the 6th. Well, it wasn't always the plan. So obviously it's all weather, permitting. And so they had called it off. But can you imagine being all the troops ready to go and saying, okay, you got to wait for the weather, got to wait for the weather. I mean, unbelievable what happened. But they'd planned it for years. So we're in the middle of World War II. And had that not gone well, this is not overstating it, we could be speaking German right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a turning point in the war, what happened there on Omaha Beach. And with the photo that everybody posts, the one that you see that is so famous, is by Robert F. Sargent. And he took the photo that I know you're familiar with. It is aptly named The Jaws of Death, Into the Jaws of Death. And it was that picture as the troops were wading ashore on Omaha Beach. And nothing went to plan on that day at Omaha. I mean, everything went askew. Most landing craft missed their targets. German defenses were unexpectedly strong. And when those plates, well, if you've seen Saving Private Ryan, that is Omaha. Yeah. What happened there? The plates come down and boom, 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 boom. It was like a kill zone. Anyway, the Allies secured the foothold in all the beaches. From there, they broke into Normandy proper. German resistance faltered. D-Day, to this day, stands out as one of the most crucial moments in history, along with the German collapse on the Eastern Front. Anyway, you can study more about it. The success of the Allies in the West ensured that the Nazis' defeat was near. And it all happened on this day in 1944.
It's one of those things, too, that when I look at the date, 1944, you and I are nearly the same age. We were born, like you just a little bit less than, and me right after you, like 20 years after that happened.
I know.
That was recent history.
I know.
Think of the things that have happened. 9/11 was more than 20 years ago now.
Yeah, isn't that weird? A child born today was born further away from 9/11 than you and I were born far away from June 6, 1944.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing? I have sand from Omaha Beach.
I know.
And I don't want to get weepy telling you about it. I was son in the service, and as part of one of his deployments, he spent some time there. And the sand that I have in a little glass container with a cork on top, that sand I didn't get on eBay. I didn't buy it at a market somewhere. That sand was scooped up by my son in the U.S. military and brought it home to his dad.
So meaningful.
And it is really, truly one of the most precious things that I have. It speaks to the love of country, the commitment of, in those days, men, but certainly these days, men and women, who will serve and who will fight and are willing to die so that we might be free. And so, I do want to give attention to this day, June the 6th, back in 1944. There was a tipping point, and it could have gone quite differently. And we were looking up earlier today the number of those that died. It is just tragic and remarkable when you think of the number of U.S. soldiers that died there.
2,501 American soldiers were killed on that day. More than 5,000 Americans were wounded. It's a significant portion of the 4,414 total Allied troops that were killed on D-Day.
That's 9/11. That's 9/11 deaths.
Yeah.
That's the 9/11 level of deaths. And it was on that single day, on that single invasion or incursion on D-Day. Unbelievable. So today, send the note to somebody who's serving and just say, hey, man, or post something about D-Day and how an important day it is, how we owe so much to those who have gone before us and those who go even now instead of us to keep us free, to keep us safe.
Okay, I have something that I think the headline is a lot more dire than will actually be the case. I think it has to do with how much do warning labels really affect us?
You mean like...
do you stay away from... I mean, I guess it depends on what it is.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
You know what Senate Bill 25 is?
Is that a state Senate bill?
It is.
SB... No.
It's expected that Governor Greg Abbott will sign it. It will be, it'll come into effect in 2027, and it means that a whole lot of popular snacks and drinks will have warning labels on them. It's a couple of other things too, but this is the headline, that grabbed me. Cheetos, Doritos, other chips will all have warning labels in 2027.
But the warning, I mean, on cigarettes or whatever, it says, tobacco kills, and if you have pregnant or whatever, you're not going to. What is the warning label on chips? Or
I don't know. It's just that it's bad for you. These things are bad for you.
They think that people don't know that.
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, they do, right?
Sure.
Of course
they
do.
It's
M&M's, gummy candies, most other candies, frozen things like ice cream, popsicles, not all of them, but most of them, a lot of them, processed baked goods, toaster strudel. I mean, the pleasure I used to get out of a good toaster strudel. Sometimes like after the kids would go to bed, I would have a toaster strudel.
That's your revenge.
They weren't
thing.
just for breakfast.
We talked about that previously. Your revenge
my
snack.
Revenge food.
Yeah.
My revenge
Let me ask you this
snacks.
about the toaster strudel, because I too enjoyed on occasion the toaster strudel. Your favorite flavor of toaster strudel?
Probably strawberry.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, strawberry. Raspberry. I used to
particularly like the icing.
The icing was
if you drizzle
great.
it just right.
That you'd warm it up in your hand a little bit and then put it on top of the toaster strudel when it was warm. Here's another one too, because you and I used to enjoy a lot of these out of a machine in a vending room in a kitchen where we used to work. Pop-Tarts. I love
Pop-Tarts.
a Pop-Tart.
Well, I kind of turned on Pop-Tarts a little bit because I can taste the lard in the things. So
and
what
you
I would
ask
do is
why they need to have warnings on them. I haven't had a Pop-Tart in
long time.
years, probably.
What I would do is I would always take the Pop-Tart and I would actually pretend like it would be a sandwich with crust. We take the crust off and you leave the inside. I would take all the whole outside of the frame of the Pop-Tart would be removed by me.
Because you were trying to cut down on your lard?
No, I actually didn't care about the cutting down. I just didn't like the taste of it. I can taste that lardy taste in that. And so, favorite flavor of Pop-Tart?
I used to like the chocolate. Was there like a chocolate with a cinnamon?
There was?
No, cinnamon sugar.
Cinnamon
sugar.
Okay.
And I also like anything berry, like strawberry, raspberry. Yeah.
Now, for me, I like the strawberry, but I like particularly the blueberry. And I actually preferred it not frosted.
During the pandemic, when we were doing a lot of baking, I hear when my daughter was coming over and doing a lot of baking, she did homemade Pop-Tarts. Those were really good.
What was the filling? What filling did she use? Like jelly or preserves?
Yeah.
Oh,
like a jelly or a jam.
Yeah, see, but I'm saving preserves, of course, because then you get part of the actual the fruit or whatever is in it. Oh,
yeah, very good. You'd use like a pie crust, like a ready-made pie crust, and or you could make your own pie crust, and that was really good. See, I miss being at home so much.
You see how quickly we can slip into scattershoot, which just sounds like the news story.
I guess
It's really,
we have. Okay, let's get back to it.
All right, so a big label warning saying
packaged
this
breads,
is bad for you.
breakfast
This is
cereals,
breaking news.
processed meats and cheese, drinks like Red Bull, Mountain Dew, Kool-Aid, Gatorade, and more.
Okay.
I don't know what's left. But this does say most packaged food that's sold in Texas that isn't fresh will probably be labeled.
But
that's a lot.
It's like everything.
I know. Other things, though, that are an important part of Texas Senate Bill 25, physical activity in schools will fall under this. So Texas schools must require daily moderate or vigorous physical activity for all students in pre-K through 8th grade.
We had a smoking section in high school.
So did we.
Isn't that weird? You think back on it?
Yeah.
We had a smoking section. We had this little. It was a courtyard just off the lunchroom. So kids would come in there and they go out there and smoke. After it's just so weird to think that it existed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we had ours was called a smoking porch, and it was also off of the hallway that was sort of adjacent to the cafeteria,
Right.
and it was covered, so you could be out there. I mean, if
Ours
it
was
was
not
raining,
covered.
you could still have your little smoking
Golly.
break.
Isn't that crazy?
I never asked my kids, and I don't remember ever seeing it when I was dropping off or picking up. If there was a place that kids who smoked could.
Well,
go.
these days, it's like in those days you could smoke when you were 18. And I guess kids that were younger than that were smoking too. But now it's supposed to be 21.
It's not illegal.
No,
it's not
you're
legal.
No, it's not
when
legal.
you're in high school.
Yeah, 21. But in those days, it was just, I don't know, it just seemed, not that I would advocate, smoking at all,
Right.
but smoking when you're a kid. But I thought it was kind of cool that there was freedom. Even then, I was a freedom lover.
You did not think it was cool.
I didn't think it was cool to smoke, but I liked the fact that there was freedom to do what you wanted to do.
You were thinking like that even when you were that young.
Sad, isn't it? I was actually. Those thoughts.
I was probably
in my head.
scared.
Scared of what? That people could do that?
Well, I just
you didn't have to
stayed
do it.
away from anything.
Well, I mean,
anything
plus
that was even that close to edgy.
Well, plus I knew some people that were in that category.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid of it. I just didn't do it. I didn't have an interest in it. Not because I was good, just because I didn't. The guys that I knew, the people that I knew that did it, they seemed kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Like the people that did drugs, they seemed kind of lazy. I mean, I didn't have time to be lazy.
Yeah.
I had to go to school. I had to be up at school at 6 o'clock in the morning. I had to be at the grocery store like right after school. Get home at 10 o'clock. I laid on a beanbag chair to attempt about 40 minutes of homework while I watched Nightline, and then go to bed and start all over.
Yeah, let's circle back to where we started, because I think you're right. We both got kind of far afield of this. I do want to know if you think, will any of these warning labels have any effect on people's behavior?
No. I'm not against it. If state of Texas wants to do it, I'm probably going to be for it. I just don't think it's very consequential.
As you can imagine, many major food manufacturers and distributors are really upset about this, including Walmart, Kraft Heinz,
that's
Hormel,
right.
Pepsi,
M&M Mars.
Coca-Cola. They've already written a letter asking Texas legislators to remove
do
the
it.
warning label section from the bill. Let's keep the kids moving and all of that, but let's take that warning label thing
I think
out
that
of it.
I think that makes sense. That's a relabel. Look, these companies sell these same products in Arkansas and New York and New Jersey. And imagine if every label demand from every state had to be on all of the packaging. You'd have no room
For that particular
for either
state.
one of the M or the M. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show, Scattershoot. And unlike the previous segment, the first half of this, this will be largely not news things. We slipped so quickly into just scattershooty things.
We did.
Pop-Tarts is not a news thing.
Well, if they're going to put a warning label
my
on them
impact-
because they're bad for you,
My
then
distaste for lard is not a... I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying it was easy, isn't it, to slip into that.
It is.
Do you ever do the hummingbird feeders?
I would love to have a hummingbird feeder, but I have not ever had one.
Well, I want you to rethink that.
Oh, why?
I saw a thing about this. Now, I don't know whether it's, you have to look into this on your own because I don't have the, energy to look to look into it. But I did see something about it was a hummingbird person, a person who knows
is
hummingbirds or
interested in
whatever.
hummingbirds. Okay.
And they were saying, it was he was saying, don't do that. It is killing hummingbirds
No.
because something about the water and the sugar that's added to it, on top of the fact that, back up, why do hummingbirds come and do that? Why do they drink the little sugar water, the red sugar water that you've put out
wait a
there
minute.
on the patio?
I didn't know that they all had sugar, that they had to have sugar water in them. I thought that hummingbird feeders came to the feeder that you put that they might have like a little red dot on the tip where they drink the water, and the red dot is what
water?
drew them to it. I mean, I might know nothing. Like I said, I've never had one, so I don't know anything about what you put in them.
My look it up while I'm chatting.
Okay.
I believe what they normally put in that is sugar water. And if I could answer my own question, what is it that they are doing? What is the thing that is being satisfied in them that draws them to go to your hummingbird feeder? What is it hummingbirds do? What do bees do? They pollinate.
They pollinate stuff, yeah.
So when hummingbirds are going from flower to flower, they are sort of drinking the nectar or whatever it is, but they're also propagating across the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So when you do the hummingbird feeder, you are replacing that natural thing that hummingbirds do. If the hummingbird gets all full from the big red you put out there, or whatever it is, they won't fly over to the flower and get the pollen from there.
Yeah.
And so this expert was saying, and again, you can look at the whole thing, but I think I'm right about this. The expert was saying, look, I'm not against you enjoying the visual of the hummingbird, but instead of doing that, plant lots of flowers that will attract them. And they will then do what it is their nature, and they won't take in, your fluoridated water and whatever else.
Yeah.
That is really not natural for them.
I totally stand corrected, because there are all kinds of hummingbird food, hummingbird nectar that you can buy, and it's basically sugar water. You make your own with 1 part sugar, 4 parts water, and then you're supposed to boil it because it'll keep it, like once you put that outside, other contaminants will get into it. And if you boil it, that keeps the contaminants from getting into it so soon. And now that I think about it, I think the place where I've seen the most hummingbirds was at a place in Colorado that had the beautiful flowers planted all over that were so the hummingbirds weren't coming to feeders, they were coming to the natural things that were there to attract them, to draw them. Yeah.
And that's what my mom's backyard has, crepe myrtles, a lot of crepe myrtles, and some flowers. And there are lots of hummingbirds.
Really?
But there are no, and that may have to do with maybe what people around there also have. Maybe other people have a lot more flowers or whatever. But anyway, just a word to, I don't want to take away people's love for watching hummingbirds. They are awfully fun to watch. And it's not the same as a bird feeder.
No.
If you're going to feed the birds, that's totally different. But the hummingbird, the purpose of what they do is to pollinate. That's what they're supposed to be doing. They're not just coming to drink your stuff from your little hummingbird bar out there on the back pad. Hey, guys, bar's open. What makes it tough is it becomes, as we talked about, sort of a replacement for that natural thing.
For what nature needs them to do.
What nature needs them to do, but what also they need.
Right.
They don't need my sugar water. They need that activity to result in something naturally that won't kill them. We thought we'd start Scattershoot on a real up note.
I learned something from Scattershoot today.
Hey.
I always do. And I'm afraid we're not really continuing it on a different note. Although I think this is really good advice. This is really good advice for people our age. The headline is, if you don't want your grown children to hate you, stop these behaviors now.
Ooh,
so grab a pen and pencil or pen and paper. And these are things, I mean, I've heard people do these things. But when I say that, I mean, these are really easy things to fall into.
To fall into, and therefore it seems it would be easy things to not do. Our kids are grown, but I think as they are off more now into their own lives, I could see I'm probably guilty of some of these, but I'm pretty flexible on stuff. I'm not real super hovery.
I think some of these are things that we might do that we don't even know we're doing.
All right, tell me.
And some of them might be things that were perfectly acceptable when they were young kids. In fact, they were kind of your job when they were young kids. And then that you you kind of miss the part where you're supposed to adjust the way you behave around them or the way you treat them or the way you parent them.
Got it.
The first one, giving unsolicited advice. I work really hard on this, and I even have to, I will ask my kids, this is not to say I do all of this well, because I'm sure I don't, but I'll ask my kids, are you asking me a question? Are you asking me for advice, or are you just venting? Because a lot of times they just want to be heard.
Sure. Here's a way to do maybe what you want to do, but to not be giving unsolicited advice. You say something like, is that what you're wearing? No, that's not. I had something like this happen. I'm not going to detail what it was. Had something like this happen, and I was saying to them, one of my offspring, I said, as we begin this conversation, can I just? It'll help me to know: are you seeking input here, or are you telling me what you are already going to do?
Yeah. That's really good.
And once that person told me, I said, okay, well that saves me from going down a bunch of roads, and it's just for clarity. It didn't bother me. I wasn't mad about anything, but it just helped me, and probably became less frustrating for this person because I was able just to clear it up. And then that's why I think even as a parent, I mean, you don't want to waste your time. And you don't want to frustrate people unnecessarily or frustrate yourself unnecessarily. So it's just, clearing it up before you do it. Hey, so I think it's unsolicited advice.
That's right. Keep the unsolicited advice to yourself.
Minimum. Yeah.
Yep. No, not to a minimum, to yourself.
Just a couple, just mornings. Just mornings.
No.
Just on days ending in Y.
Keep it inside. Write it in a journal if you need to get it out, but don't share it.
That's a different topic. I say no to journaling, but go ahead.
Okay, we'll do that.
No on journaling.
That's for another time. Number 2, keeping a mental scorecard of how often they call. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, they don't. This is according to this piece that I'm reading. They don't owe you time or attention. They give it when it feels safe, not transactional. You don't want them to call you like they're checking off a box. Got to call mom or she'll get mad.
Okay, so better when they call to say, "What is it you want?" Because they're only calling for something.
It's not a good way.
Is everything okay?
Not a way to get them to call more often. Here's another one: acting like you know what's best for them. Listen, we all know that probably sometimes we do, but that's not. Sometimes that's gathered from life experience, and you need them to have their own life experience.
Of course.
They need to have their own life experience, and your life experience doesn't make you an authority on their life. Criticizing them in the name of honesty.
Ooh, can I just say there's a cousin to that activity?
What's that?
It is gossiping under the guise of prayer requests.
You're right.
Isn't that what the hey, can you pray for so and so? I don't know if you heard or not, but her daughter is like, hello.
You're right about that.
Anyway, so go ahead.
You're right about that. So your kids will stop coming to you if they feel like they're constantly being judged.
Right, of course.
That's not why they're coming to you. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Acting like their life is all about you. So this is when your kid comes to you and tells you that they won an award or they got a promotion,
Okay.
or it may be something bad, and you frame it around your feelings. Like, don't tell me that stuff. You know that stuff brings me down, or you got that promotion because that's this good trait that I taught you, or
boy.
whatever. Don't make it about you. Okay,
It sounds like they're clinging on to.
Maybe.
It's like you already have your life. You've had your life, and you still
Yeah.
have your life.
Yeah.
Let them do what they got their own things to do. There's a whole age and stage of life thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're in the if you go back in time to the time where you were their age, and how would you have felt if your parents had done that to you? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, they're in a different, parents are, maybe they're about to retire or whatever. Well, yeah, they have more time to hang out. I'm not in that thing, man. I'm building my thing. When you were younger and building your thing, you didn't have time to sit around and stay an extra 3 hours somewhere. You got stuff to do. You got kids, got soccer, you got blah, blah, blah. Wife's doing this, and we had schedules, got to go to the store. I mean, it seems like, let them have their life. Is sort of a lot of these things would be solved, I think, by just that'd be the banner under which our activities fall.
Yeah. How about this one? Making snarky comments about their lifestyle choices. Don't do that.
Let me think of when I did that most recently.
If so, let me give you an example.
okay.
Remarks about their tattoos, their veganism, or it could be any number of things. It's not harmless. It's a subtle rejection of who they've become. You might think that you're kind of being playful,
yeah.
but that can really sting.
That's true. Yeah, well, words cast spells. You know how you can tell if someone's a vegan?
How?
They'll tell you. That's how you can know.
Sounds like you have some experience with this. Maybe not
No,
your
I
kids.
no, I don't
but,
have any vegans.
Yeah.
But I've kind of noticed that's a
Okay. Interesting.
sort of a central characteristic of some.
I don't have any vegans either. We do have some tattoos, though.
Yeah.
Trying to be right more than you try to be close.
Yeah, that is. I think that would be for some.
Yeah.
And I think we hide that in this desire to share with them our wisdom of the things that we know because we've lived longer, and we just wanted to impart it to them. However, sometimes it's not as well received as we might hope.
This is one that I have to check myself on a lot. Minimizing their hard stuff. I think
Oh, gotcha.
I look at struggles that really that I'm honored that they share
Yeah.
with me. But I look at them from the perspective of someone who's lived twice as long as they have. And sometimes I can see
The long view. You see the long view.
I see the long view
Yeah,
that they can't see
Yeah,
it. They're
yeah.
not supposed to see it
Well,
yet.
but can I share a recent conversation I had?
Yeah.
With one of my kids. I said kids. One of my grown children, and they actually wanted to come over and have a conversation. It turns out about this certain thing. It was a big deal, and one of the things that I wasn't like telling them, I think you should do this or I think this, but I kind of well, first of all, they were seeking the input, so that's number one.
Yeah.
I wasn't just seeing about it and saying, hey, why don't you do this?
Sure.
So being asked, then you have some freedom to do some of this. But even that, I didn't say do this or do that. I said, well, here's one way to look at it. Project yourself to the end of 2026, and whatever decision you're making now, 18 months from now, how will you look back and feel about the decision that you've made?
Yeah.
And I think that helps because there'd be a lot of reasons maybe you'd say, well, I can't do this right now, I can't do that right now. And here are the reasons that cement me in this one thing. But stop for a second and look ahead. And then looking back to this time, how do you think that might be? How do you think you might view if you chose this versus if you chose that?
That's good advice.
And so I was, yeah. I mean, but really it's their life. I mean, right?
Another one is expecting access to every part of their life. That's one of those things that you have when they're little, and you lose a little bit of it maybe when you give them a little bit of independence, send them out into the world. And I think sometimes that's hard for people to let go of, wanting to know everything about every part of their life.
I don't want to sound like an uncaring parent or whatever, but for me, it was sort of like, well, think of it like a bird, right? You got a bird, a dad bird, and a mom bird, and little birds.
Yeah.
And the birds fly away. And imagine like chasing them around from neighborhood to neighborhood and landing on the same tree and talking. So, no. They're not in their nest anymore. They're not in your nest anymore.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean they'll never come back. It doesn't mean you won't see them and spend time with them. It doesn't mean they don't love you. But you're not going to know every single neighborhood they fly into.
That's
and
so
every
healthy.
tree that you do. For me, it was like, it wasn't I don't care. I care a great deal. But it's like, no, let them fly.
Maybe some of it's easier for dads than moms.
I think.
Do you think?
I do think so. I mean, I've told you before that when Caroline left for college after high school graduation, I really had the sense that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it will never be exactly the same. Doesn't mean it'll be bad, but it'll never be exactly the same. This very major portion of my task is done.
Yeah.
And this day was coming. And see, but you were asking earlier, did I really think like that about something else? And when I was young, I did. I always thought about these kinds of things. And so when they were little, we had a guy on the talk show a long time ago. And
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Our first guy was an Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback, and he had a thing for kids, and he was talking about who's packing their bags. Because if you're not packing them, somebody else is packing them.
He said every kid is like a suitcase.
Yep.
And when they're born, the suitcase is wide open. And somebody is putting stuff in that suitcase. And the suitcase is getting full of stuff, and it's also closing. And when they're 16, the suitcase closes. And if you didn't fill up that bag, if you're letting somebody did.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to fill that suitcase. When we had that guy on the show, all my kids were little.
Changed
that was
everything.
Invaluable to me.
Yeah, changed everything. Yeah, it really, really did. And then that's the way I've always, even before I ever heard that guy, I've always thought these are ages and stages. You have time in your life. So, and then other people say, "Wow, it didn't really strike me until they were gone for 2 or 3 years in college." And then it kind of struck me, "Wow, I guess that's so." For me, it wasn't a door slam, but it was a pretty hard edge.
Yeah.
There at the end, and it seemed weird because it was like, "Wow, that went by fast." I mean, she's 18. She's going off to college.
Yeah.
And that's it. I've done what I can do. And of course, you never stop loving, never stop parenting.
Of course.
That goes on the rest of your life. But in terms of that flying from neighborhood to neighborhood and chase your little birds as they are building their own nests, it's like, hey, really? That's not the straw I would use. It's like,
if you want them to come back to your nest ever, don't chase them to the other nest.
Let them be them.
Yeah, very good. Very good. The last one is making your relationship feel conditional. If you tell them that
like coming around or something, or
if you tell them that you'll always love them, but it kind of feels like that love comes with strings attached. Like they have to act a certain way, be a certain way, call enough times, visit a certain amount of times, or make the life choices that you approve
that's what
of.
I was thinking. Yeah.
Then it's not gonna feel that way. It's gonna feel like, did they love me, or do they love the version of me that they want me to be? And that's not how we ever want them to feel.
It also seems like some parents are in, look, all things being equal, so this is not true of all parents, may or may not be true of me, but parents generally are in a better position financially and stability and all kinds of things than are their kids. And it seems like some parents who feel their kids slipping away can use those things to put claws in them and sort of tether them back.
Yeah.
Whether it's assistance in this way or assistance in that way. And really, I'm just trying to help. I mean, you guys, you are hard workers, and we're going to help you have a great start. Nothing wrong with that necessarily, but I think the motive of the person that's doing it is really important.
It is.
And I'll tell you when you find out whether that motive was pure or not. When you take that assistance, but you don't do the things that they want you to do. And you're going to find out, oh, I thought you did that because you loved us. I didn't know you were doing it as a way to keep us dependent on you. That's what I was talking about before. I think sometimes it comes from an insecure parent, or, I still need that attachment. Look, here's the way it really...
I need to feel important. I need to feel valuable. I need to feel needed.
I think what you said before maybe is true. I think it may be a gender thing. Not that genders exist, but I think it may be a gender thing. You're so binary. I think that it may be a gender thing. I may lean a gender thing. I think women have a harder time at this than men for varying reasons that we don't even, if they're true, we don't have to get into. But I think women have a harder time. The letting go, the independence, all those things. It's not that men don't care. It's not that men. It's just different. I think men's roles in their children's lives as they're growing up are, in many cases, they are different roles than the women's roles in their kids' lives.
I think that's true too.
And because of that, I think there are attachments that get made between women and their children that are different from the attachments that get made or bonded or whatever between men, fathers, and their children. Hey, we're doing a little Father's Day thing here on before Father's Day.
Yeah, we are.
But that's what I think. I think so. I think women have a much harder time with the letting go than men do. I think, but I really don't know. I just don't. I don't want my kids to feel. I think we want to follow all those things.
We do.
If somebody wanted that list, could they send you an email?
You bet.
Yeah. So email us at podcast@wildershow.com. Podcast@wildershow.com, and we'll get you that. I have a bunch more stuff for Scattershoot, but I think we're done
I have
for
a
this
few
time.
things too. We have leftover stuff.
That's okay.
Overflow Scattershoot.
Put it back in the drawer. We'll pull it out next time around. Okay. Reminder to send a note or post something about D-Day and be thankful for what happened on this day, June the 6th, 1944. It's a very, very big deal. And we thank you. I thank you as a father of someone who serves. They deserve our thanks, and not just that you feel that way, but you say it to somebody or post it about somebody today. That is Scattershoot for the Wilder Show podcast. Thanks, Lauren. That was fun.
Thank you.
I love that. I love the stuff you come up with.
You too.
Yeah. Instagram. You can find us on Instagram. It is Wilder Show Pod. Search that on Instagram. Search that on Instagram. There you go. How's that?
Search that on Instagram.
We have to do fun with inflection sometime. I have so many
Next time.
Oh, fun with inflection would be so fun.
Okay.
If you want to send us an email, just email to podcast@wildershow.com. It's podcast@wildershow.com. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or earlier on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next time. Let's sing along. Okay.